You're listening to Audiology. Support this channel by becoming a member and be sure to submit your requests for topics in the comments below. Federalist No. 7, also known as The Same Subject Continued, Concerning Dangers from Dissensions Between the States, is part of the Federalist Papers, a series of essays by Alexander Hamilton. This particular essay, which is the 7th in the series, first appeared in the Independent Journal on November 17, 1787. Hamilton wrote it under the pseudonym Publius, a name used for all the Federalist Papers. In this essay, one of two Hamilton wrote advocating for a political union, he warns against the dangers of the states going to war with each other. Federalist No. 7 builds on the arguments introduced in Federalist No. 6, emphasizing the need for unity. Hamilton uses Federalist No. 7 to detail several types of disputes that could lead states to war if they do not join together under a single federal government. He discusses how arguments over territory, trade policies, the national debt, and breaches of private contracts could spiral into conflict. While we no longer see these conflicts as likely to cause war among the states today, Federalist No. 7 touches on economic issues that remain relevant in discussions of interstate commerce. Alexander Hamilton is the author behind Federalist No. 7. Like the rest of the Federalist Papers, he used the pen name Publius when it was published in New York newspapers. The purpose of these papers was to explain the details of the United States Constitution and to convince New York to agree to it. The first time Federalist No. 7 was shared with the public was in the Independent Journal on November 17, 1787. It was then published in the Daily Advertiser on November 19th and finally in the New York Packet on November 20th. This paper picks up right where Federalist No. 6 left off, diving deeper into the discussion about how likely it is for the states to go to war with each other. Hamilton starts off with the viewpoint that the states are on a path to conflict without unity. He lays out his reasoning, pointing to several potential flashpoints. Initially, he talks about how territorial squabbles are a common spark for conflict. He specifically mentions the Western lands as a hotspot for future disputes, highlighting how past disagreements over territory show states are ready to clash over land. Next, Hamilton touches on the topic of trade and economics. He expresses concern over the states' competing economic interests, noting how some states could use their advantageous positions to impose trade duties on others, leading to tension. Regarding the collective public debt, Hamilton brings up another area of contention. The states can't seem to settle on how to share or prioritize this debt, and Hamilton thinks any attempt to solve this could end up being unfair to certain states. He also warns about the potential for states to stir up trouble by passing laws that interfere with private contracts. Hamilton wraps up his argument by cautioning that if the states do not unite, they are likely to end up under the influence of European powers and at war with each other. In Federalist No. 7, Alexander Hamilton made a case for the importance of a federal government by pointing out the potential conflicts between states. He argued that states could end up in disputes similar to those between countries, highlighting the need for a strong federal authority to mediate. Hamilton stressed that without unity, foreign nations might exploit these divisions to influence the states against each other. He built on John Jay's assertion that Americans share a common identity, suggesting that without a federal system, this connection could lead to heightened tensions. Hamilton pointed out the shortcomings of the Articles of Confederation, especially its failure to settle territorial disputes, such as those over Western lands, the Wyoming Valley, and the Vermont Republic. These disputes, often resolved by court decisions that favored one state over another, fueled bitterness among them. Hamilton also emphasized the need for a consistent commercial policy across the states to ensure that trade and duties were uniform, preventing any state from enacting policies that could harm others. He noted that while some believed mutual economic interests would naturally prevent conflict, economic policies beneficial to one state could harm another, leading to disputes. New York, for instance, because of its geographical location, could disproportionately control interstate commerce, a situation the Commerce Clause in the proposed Constitution aimed to rectify. This clause intended to create a sort of free trade zone between states, preventing them from initiating trade wars against each other. Some modern scholars, like constitutional law professor Michael Greve and economics professor Daniel L. Smith, see federalism as a way to enhance economic competition between states for the benefit of the public. During the Revolutionary War, the issue of public debt emerged, with disagreements over who was responsible for payment and the Articles of Confederation, providing no means to enforce payment by the states. The proposed Constitution sought to address these issues by giving Congress the authority to pay off debts and including an engagements clause to affirm the validity of pre-existing debts. Moreover, Hamilton warned of the violation of private contracts between citizens of different states as a potential source of conflict. Drawing from the ideas of Thomas Hobbes, Hamilton described the natural conflict-seeking behavior of states in the absence of a central government. Hobbes argued that humans, without government, existed in a state of nature where everyone was a threat to one another, proposing a powerful Leviathan state to ensure security. Hamilton also touched upon Montesquieu's notion that geography and climate play crucial roles in a nation's fate, linking it to the political relationships between states. The Constitution established a system of federalism, which implies that alongside the national economy, each state could continue running its own economy. This system became especially clear after the 10th Amendment was ratified. Throughout American history, states have frequently competed economically. This competition initially focused on tariffs, but over time shifted to include factors like subsidies, federal spending, and benefits that help businesses. States also collaborate to create policies that benefit all parties involved. Another common strategy is tax exportation, where states manage to collect taxes from sources outside their borders, affecting the overall domestic commerce. The issue of the American frontier was resolved when states agreed to transfer their western lands to the federal government, paving the way for the formation of new states. Nowadays, in the 21st century, the idea of states going to war with each other seems highly unlikely. Thanks for watching. Share your thoughts in the comments and subscribe for more content.